Britain's next F1 star is sponsored by Scale Extric.
Seb Morris was the youngest ever winner of the Junior Ginetta series, looking to make it as the next big thing in Formula One. When it comes to Seb's education, the man teaching him a lesson on the track is Andy Merrick, a former student of Seb's school.
I like to think of him as my brother from another mother, because he's definitely, we've got a really good bond, and especially doing all the fitness, and we go out on bike rides and running and etc. And sometimes we actually go and do things together when we're at a racetrack and things like that. So it's a good relationship, and he's definitely a great person to have around me, and makes the whole package feel complete really in racing.
It was evident straight away that the guy's got a huge amount of talent. Not only has he been quick, he's been intelligent, he's been clever behind the wheel, he's dealt with different scenarios very well, and he's shown a real racing instinct. So to work with him and the way that Hillspeed are putting a car together has been good. He's building for the future.
I mean, the main advice that but is already, you passed that stage, I would have given to younger kids, is to stay in go-kart as long as you can, as you should. And there is this modern fashion that young kids, they want to arrive in Formula One, they want to be out of the go-kart as early as possible. And I don't share, because the knowledge, the experience, the fighting, the in-fight situation that you can have in go-kart, and that you learn from, and that is very important for you at the later stage. You can't pick up in any single-seater junior racing. Plus, if you're too early and too young into a single-seater, what do you do with, for example, 17, 18, if you're already in GP2 and you win the championship? And maybe not yet being matured enough to be a Formula One driver. Because every step is a big step. It's a big challenge, and it needs a lot of preparation, it needs a lot of confidence. And it's sometimes better to build up your confidence and go one step slower, and have a second year of A category, of winning that category, dominating it, and getting full confidence into the next one. Maybe take another 2 years there, in order to be well prepared. And even if you're 20, 21, you are never too old in that age to enter Formula One. The worst you can do is to arrive too early and crack under this pressure. Your season, or your career is almost finished, because I can't remember anybody that came into Formula One, and I know quite a few, that came in too early, weren't ready, couldn't achieve what they wanted to achieve, couldn't stay in Formula One, but desperately wanted to stay. Came back again at a later stage, but never managed to get back into the top area. So the main advice is take your time and prepare yourself properly, and don't try to rush through things.
In spite of his burning ambition to race, it's important Seb's education doesn't take a back seat. He attained his GCSEs, and his teachers recognised that having such a high-pressure hobby has forced Seb to grow up faster than his schoolmates.
I think Seb is quite an unusual student, because he obviously has a whole different life, and that gives him an element of maturity that others don't have. He's mixing with adults, he's a child in an adult world on the racing circuit. So he does have a different approach possibly than others. But on a one-to-one, he's always very mature, very articulate, and has a real clear goal of what he wants.
Motorsport started out like these, cars basically no safety awareness, no one really knew about it. It was basically a bunch of very rich older people than they are nowadays doing it as a bit of a hobby.
How many 16-year-olds do you know who arrive at school in the morning or with coffee? In one of these sort of warm mugs, there he is, he's arriving with his coffee, and that is, that to me, that's Seb. He is mature for his age, and that's why he has these quirks, and I wouldn't want to change him.
Well, Monday to Friday he's at school with the rest of us, he does the same things as us, but then come the weekend he goes off, he does his motorsport racing, and that makes him a very special child, because he's got to be able to do both of those lifestyles at the same time. and manage the school so he can do the work.
When he's at the track, he's not a typical 16-year-old boy. He is a race driver, and then when he's out in town with us and his mates, you can see that he is actually a normal boy. It's quite a role reversal.
It helps that the school and all my friends are very supportive of my racing, so I kind of push that to one side and just become a school student here with all my friends. And the teachers are all lovely as well and help me get back to where I need to be when I've missed a couple of days off. So yeah, it's a very nice place to be.
The financial aspect of motorsport is, sadly in a sense, a very big one. The numbers are eye-watering. Even from karting, and some of the karting budgets in European karting now are hundreds of thousands of pounds, and sadly, in a sense, the better you are, the higher the formula, the more expensive it gets. So the aim is really to try and find some partners who'll maybe invest and share that burden with you.
I kind of dreamed of being in the top flight motorsport like F1. I think I could be a great ambassador for companies that sponsor you. I'm happy to go to any promotional events, and obviously a good driver. It really kind of brings closer the dream, really. When you're sitting next to an F1 car, you can feel the presence, of the, even of the drivers in the championship, and the engineering that goes into making these cars. And when you can touch one, it really makes the dream kind of a reality, really.
You need to understand when you drive the car, how is the functionality of the car, because at one point you have to come in, you have to explain to the engineer what is the car doing, maybe why is the car doing that. The car exists out of, I think about 6,000 pieces, if I'm right, and you don't need to know, obviously, each of the 6,000 components are single, but you need to know how they function together.
When you sit behind the wheel of an F1 car, do you still feel the same enjoyment that you did jumping in a kart at 14, 15?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, it's all the reason why I came back, and it's all the reason that while I was off, I was still doing go-kart races, motorcycle races, because I just loved the pure driving. I didn't love other aspects of Formula One at the time. I was tired of Formula One by itself. But the pure driving sensation, particularly in the go-kart, is just sensational.
Is it completely different to anything else, being an F1 car?
The main speciality is, yes, the speed, but if you drive your car, if you try to set up your car, I guess your main aim is to have the car as perfect as possible. So it just is in your hands and you feel one with your car. There are limited tools that you have available right now in Formula One, and particular in some of the years that I was racing, I had the full potential of tools to set up the car to exactly my needs and exactly my wishes, and that's when you sort of get into this flow, I call it, where you be one piece and then you just have the absolute perfection. And if you have this is the absolute satisfaction. This is what is Formula One that gives you the maximum possibility to achieve this.
Good luck for it.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. My dream come true.
Might see you during the Silverstone time then.
Yeah, okay. He was a lot more chilled out than I thought he'd be. It was very cool to hang out with Michael Schumacher. Definitely something to remember.
The aspiration to be a Formula One driver is very laudable and understandable, and hopefully may one day be attained, but one's got to just do the mathematics to realise that there are 24 places out of 7 billion, and that's a pretty slim chance.
It's difficult to see anything motorsport-wise that Seb couldn't turn his hand to.
He's definitely got it in his head, and he's got it in his feet.
Motorsport is all about, being positive in the mind, and Seb's got a great attitude to his racing.
I do it for the exhilaration of speed and to prove to people that I can actually do it and try and get to F1.
He's got age on his side, he's a complete package as a driver, both in and out of the car. And if Seb wanted to go in the direction of Formula One, I see Formula One would have a place for Seb in a few years.
I hope as a mother that he can carry on in motorsport, enjoy it first and foremost, but obviously have a paid career out of it somewhere down the line.
My ambition is just to be paid for doing what I love, driving cars, whether it be a TV presenter or an F1 driver. I'm absolutely fine with whatever, as long as it's got 4 wheels.
Fingers crossed, really.
If Sebastian can end up being a top-flight professional driver in a top-flight series, be it Formula One, be it in America, be it in the Le Mans series, be it in the GT series, I will have done my job, Victoria will have done her job, and more particularly he will have done his job.
To follow in their footsteps would be amazing. The likes of Prost, Senna, Michael Schumacher, but let alone to think you could actually be one of those people. In 30 years' time, people could go, Seb Morris. That's just an amazing feeling.
Britain's next F1 star is sponsored by Scalextric, a passion for every generation and the next.